Welcome. Welcome to my Pilates class. If you're here for the very first time, my name is Rochelle. I'm going to take you on powerhouse training for today. So on my left side, I have a ball that you can use, and on my right side, I have a block. The block you can use underneath your head, but also in between the knees. And if you don't have a block, you can use a thick book, something like a dictionary. And if you don't have a ball, then you can use a cushion. Now let's start with releasing our fingers, then step your feet into hip distance. The easiest way to do so is by bringing the heels together and then rolling your feet over to the big toes. Now soften your knees a little. And then we start tucking our tailbone. So our tailbone moves underneath us. This way we lengthen our spine a bit more. Then you can lift up your pubic bone. Then lift it up towards the belly button. And then start moving your belly button in towards the spine. Now, automatically, you will activate your pelvic floor muscles. We also call that our foundation. And then we roll our shoulders with big circles to the back. You can start to make those same circles from the back to the front as well. We take a deep inhale. We take both of our arms up. Then we exhale. We start to roll ourselves forward. We do that vertebrae for vertebrae. Time on the way down. We start to roll the chin down to the chest, drop the crown of the head. And while we exhale, we start to bend our knees slightly. On an inhale, you start to lift your sitting bones all the way up towards the sky. We make that movement a few times in a row. So we bend, and we stretch. Then we keep our knees slightly bent, and we start to roll ourselves up, just as slow, vertebrae for vertebrae. We take both of our arms up. Soften your shoulders, drop your right arm, start stretching your left arm over, lengthening the waist. We slowly roll ourselves up, taking both arms up, and then we start moving all the way over to the other side. Now let's lift. Take both arms up. Then we start bending through the knees. Now I want you to tuck your tailbone. So the tailbone moves underneath us. It's like pulling your tail in between the legs. You start to lengthen your lower back a little. We take our arms up. Now start bringing the weight over to your toes. So you rise up a little. This way you start to activate the thigh muscles, the calf muscles, and then we roll ourselves forward, vertebrae for vertebrae. So roll yourself really slow. Now let's see if we can walk our hands all the way over to the top of our mat. Here we are. Now drop your tailbone, lengthen your spine, move your belly button in, push your heels away. And then we exhale, we start to move our knee in towards the nose. We inhale, we start to step it back. And we do the same at the other side. So we slowly move that knee forward. And we step it back. Let's try that again. Move it in. Step it away one more time. Then we push it back. And then we start to drop our knees, but we hold them just above the floor. So we round our spine a bit more. We start to pull our belly button in, hug it, and then move your lowest ribs in. Keep here. Last 4, 3, 2, 1, and then we drop our knees down. Now our hands are still underneath our shoulders, our knees underneath the hips. We take a deep inhale. We start lifting up the tailbone, releasing vertebrae for vertebrae, rolling the back of the head all the way over to the top of the back. And while you exhale, you start to round your spine. You drop your chin to the chest. Let's try that again. So we start to release. And we round. Eventually, we use our in-breath to lengthen our spine. We start to stretch our right leg behind us. Now see if you can keep your hips next to each other. Let's drop our left hand over to our lower back. Let's stretch our left arm forward. Now work that foundation. So drop your fingertips and your toes and then start moving it back up. Now, if you notice that you start to overstretch your elbow a little too much, you can always make a fist out of your hand or start bringing the weight a bit more towards the pinky finger. So lift it up and down. One more time. And then we drop our left hand underneath the shoulder. We start to move our right knee back. And we're going to circle the hips a little. This way we relax the lower back a bit more, but also make a bit more space around the hips. And you can start to circle the other way around. We start moving ourselves back, hands and knees. Now let's extend our left leg behind us. Drop the toes, tuck the tailbone, so lengthen the lower back. Let's take our right arm forward. Lift it up at the same time. So you roll it up, slowly move it down. Let's do it again. Up and down. Last 4. One more time. And then I want you to drop your right hand, drop your left knee, cross your ankle. We're going to roll it over, and I want you to take the ball with, or the cushion. If you don't have a ball or a cushion for the next one, you can use the block as well in between the hands. What we do is we press our hands against the wall, the ball. Then we start to roll ourselves back a little. So we start to round our spine. Now while we round, I want you to pull in your belly button. Now while you activate, you start to activate the pelvic floor muscles as well. So you start to move yourself slightly back. Then we take a deep inhale. We exhale, we roll ourselves up. Now during a Pilates class, you can either breathe in and out through your nose, but you can also try to do the same through the mouth. So you lift up. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, roll yourself back. Inhale. Exhale, roll yourself up. Let's do that again. So we move ourselves back and forth. One more time, we roll back, and this time I want you to lift up your arms. Now keep pressing the ball in between the hands. Start lifting up your feet slowly. Now let's see if we can move those knees in a little closer. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the ball next to you. Now take your arms next to the knees. Let's see if we can extend the legs a little further. And then release them super slow. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's roll the nose towards the knees. Bring the hands over to the feet. We call this the forward fold. So you relax your shoulders, your neck. If you can, try to bring your nose all the way over to the knees, forehead to the shins. And then we start to roll ourselves up again. And we step both of our feet back to the ground. This time, the ball back. Move yourself slightly back. Exhale. Then start moving all the way to the right side. We move ourselves slightly back. All the way to the left. From side to side. Now, while you make this movement, you start to use your obliques muscles. So the obliques are the side abdominals. I want you to do this 2 more times. So from the right, slowly back to the left. Then you move yourself back to the middle. Now let's see if we can lift up both of the feet. Let's take our arms up, soften the shoulders. Let's see if we can extend the legs, lift them up a little higher. Release them in 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the ball back. Let's lift up all 10 toes and start pushing away the ball of the foot and the heel. Then you take your arms up, you soften. We take our right hand all the way over to our left foot. Now see if you can push it a little further and then open up. Inhale, lift. Then we exhale, we start to move ourselves all the way to the other side. So from one side to another. So move your arms up, twist. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Then we take our arms up and we're going to roll ourselves back. Now make sure that your feet stay flexed. Your arms go up. You start to roll yourself back vertebrae for vertebrae. Let's take the arms all the way behind us and then start pointing your toes forward. Let's lift up the arms, roll up the shoulders, shoulder blades, move yourself all the way over to the front of the mat. Fingertips towards the feet, nose towards the knees. Soften, roll yourself back. We're going to do that again, so we roll ourselves up and down using our foundation, our powerhouse, and move back. 2 more times. Once more. Then we start to roll ourselves back, vertebrae for vertebrae, and we step our feet in a little closer. Knees point up towards the ceiling. Now this is one of those movements that if you want, you can lift up your head. What we're going to do is we're going to move ourselves over to a half bridge pose. So you roll up your hips, you move your fingertips over to the heels. Makes it a lot easier if you have your head lifted, or if you don't want that, you can roll yourself up even higher. Now here we are. It's a bridge pose. You start to release your hips slowly towards the ground while we exhale. Then we start to lift our hips up just as slow. So roll them, activate the pelvic floor muscles, lift, and start moving them down. Roll them up and down, few more. One more time, and then we start rolling back, starting from the top at the back, and you start to release yourself all the way down. Drop your hips. Then we extend both of the legs back over the ground. We point them all the way up towards the top of your mat. You start to interlace your fingers. You roll your hands all the way over the back of the head. You start opening up those elbows, release those shoulder blades. Keep them wide. Now keep your chin away from the chest, and while you exhale, you start to lift yourself up. Now while you lift, try to press your lower back closer to the ground. And then we start to move ourselves down. So you exhale, you lift. You inhale, you move yourself back and forth a few times in a row. Two more, and then that last one, you stay lifted, and we're going to do small bits on top. So for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, roll down. Now again, you can either lift your head up and roll your shoulders a bit down, or you can start to move the block or the ball in between the knees to activate the outer and inner thighs a bit more. Now, option 1 is to bring the hands over the back of the head. Option 2 is to cross the arms over the chest. We start to exhale. Now we lift up our nose towards the ceiling. We start to lift up our shoulder blades. Press the lower back down and then start moving yourself back a little. We're going to do this again, but exhale. Exhale, lift, and inhale, roll back. Let's do that again. Lift. Bringing all the awareness towards our straight abdominals. Now let's do that again. Lifting up. Slowly back. One more time. Now keep yourself lifted, small bits for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift both of your feet. Now we're in a 90-degree angle. Make sure that those knees are over the hips and the feet are on the height of the knees. If you feel that it's too much pressure for your lower back, you can either move the knees in a little further or use the block back underneath the head and neck. Then exhale, lift yourself up a little higher. Inhale, roll back. Let's do that again. So we lift up and slowly move back. Keep on moving up and down. Press your lower back down to the ground. Two more. Once more, then we stay lifted. We do small bits. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll your head down. Move the ball away. Then I want you to keep your legs in that base pose. Knees over the hips, feet on the height of the knees. Now tuck your tailbone so your lower back moves a little closer to the ground. And we start to release our right toes. We slowly drop it down. Then we lift it up. Keep activating those pelvic floor muscles. Switch to left. So it's from one side to another. What we do is focus on our pelvic floor muscles and our lowest abdominals. Remember the abdominal shield, so that those are your straight abdominals, your foundation, your pelvic floor muscles, your obliques, your side muscles, and then we have the lower back muscles. Now we're all using them. Activate. Keep on moving them up and down. 4 more. One more time. Then we stay here. We lift up our shoulders and our back of the head, and we start to extend the arms along the legs. We're going to do the 100. So first you inhale through the nose, and then you start moving your hands up and down. So you make a small pumping movement for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And again, you can always drop your head down, either on the floor or on top of the block, so you keep that activation. Inhale. And exhale. Keep moving those hands up and down. In and out. Two more times. One more. Then I want you to extend the legs and see if you can do this with extended legs as well. 4 rounds. Last one. And then we move our knees in. When we release our head and we circle. We start to circle the other way around as well. So from the right to left, releasing tenderness around the lower back, but also around those abdominals. And before we go to our stretches, I want you to do one more exercise here. On top of the back, we bring the ball in between the knees. If you don't have a ball, you can use the cushion. Now, let's see if we can lift up our head and our shoulders. Then we're going to move all the way to one side. So we're going to press the right elbow towards the ball and extend the right leg. So you start to turn in a little further. Then you move back. You do the same to the other side. So slowly move back, switch. In, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Moving yourself from side to side. One more time. Then we drop both of the knees to the right side of our mat. We call that a spinal twist. It's a stretch movement. It relaxes the lower back. Then we open up our arms. We start to activate the pelvic floor muscles while we drop both of the knees to the left side. And we're going to make an more active movement out of it. So I want you to press your knees together, press your feet together. See if you can drop your shoulders down as much as you can, and otherwise use the block underneath your head. You're going to move your legs up into a 90-degree angle. Roll yourself down. Start dropping both of the knees to the right side. So we're using our obliques, same as the crisscross movement we just did. So you start moving yourself back slowly. And then drop both of the knees to the left. Slowly roll up. And drop them all the way to the right. From side to side. Now sometimes you hear a crack, maybe in the knees or the hips. I always have that when I do single leg circles, but also with the twisting, you can hear a crack in the lower back. It's nothing really scary as long as it's not a pinching pain. We call that the part of the joint, so it's like air escaping from your joint. We're going to do this 2 more times, but that last 2, I want you to hold on a little longer. So you're here on the right side. Let's see if you can do this for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll it back. Let's do the same to the left. So hold on a little longer. And then we move back. We start dropping our left foot down to the floor. And we take our right foot just underneath the knee. We start opening up those hips a little, dropping the knees sideways. You can open up your arms as well. And we're going to deepen our spinal twist so we stay in that movement. We're going to drop our left knee all the way to the side, drop our right foot. You can keep your right foot on the ground though, And then see if you can touch it with your left hand. You can even deepen it by bringing your right hand over to left foot, making a pretzel out of yourself. We're going to roll it back, but this time we keep the foot underneath the knee. Now, we call this the thread through the needle. It's a hip opener. So you can extend your right arm in between, take your left arm around. Now, either bring your hands around your hamstrings and pull your knees in a little closer, or bring your hands over the shin and start pulling your knees in. Just depends on how much space you have. Then we're going to do the same to the other side. So we start slow. First, we drop our right foot, put our left foot just underneath the knee. Just relax that lower back, release the shoulders. If you like, open them up. And then see if you can twist. So you start to drop your knees all the way to the right side. With your right hand, grab your left ankle if you want. You don't have to. You can just leave it like this. And with your left hand, grab your right foot to make it a bit more intense. And it's especially more intense for the outer thighs. We move back. Let's see if we can do a thread through the needle at this side as well. Pull those knees in. Give those joints a nice stretch. We release. You can either bring your hands around the inside of the knees or grab your big toes. And we start to roll ourselves over the back a few times. You actually use your core muscles during this movement. And then you start to lift yourself up one more time in half bow pose. If that feels okay, stay here. But if you want, you can start to extend the legs all the way up. Hold. Activate those pelvic floor muscles. And then start to release the legs really slow in 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross the legs. Now here we are. We cross our legs. We take both of our arms up. Inhale. And then exhale, drop your right hand and give it a nice stretch all the way over with the left arm. And you roll yourself up. You're going to do the same movement to the other side. So you start to stretch it over. We lift up. We bring our hands in front of the heart. We start to take a moment to thank ourselves. When we thank ourselves, for taking the time to be here, for checking in with ourselves, with the people around us, sharing our energy for our practice and our present. And I would like to do the same. So I want to say thank you. Thank you very much for joining this class. And let's open up our arms and then give ourselves an enormous hug. So you bring your arms around you